Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And dude, it has been intense, really intense the past couple of days. This past week, I would say, it's been almost like we're not really having any. um, so just to kind of ramble off some of the ascension symptoms while people kind of start to come into the meeting here. Um, the dizziness I call it dizziness, but it's something different. And I know I've tried to describe it before, but um, it's kind of like disorientation, sort of like lightheadedness, kind of like vertigo, dizziness, all combined. I don't really feel like I'm gonna fall over, like I'm not gonna faint, but it's there. It's and it's very apparent, very strong right now. Um, I keep looking to see if we're having some big X-class solar flares or something. I know we've had solar activity, though it was on the other side of the sun and didn't seem to really. We did have a spurt of energy that came from it, but it wasn't. Anyway, um, we are having a lot of stuff, and I know I'm not alone in saying that I am not the only one who didn't sleep last night. I didn't sleep at all last night. Well, it all isn't quite the. I slept very lightly for moments, and then was abruptly brought back into wakefulness. That was all I did, and so I'm still awake from yesterday. Uh, I don't feel that it's like I don't feel like it was bad. It was just all kinds of different, weird, unpleasant experience. Um, and so anyway, not unpleasant, I guess, just wish that I would have been able to sleep. So on top of that, a lot of us are having activations in the feet, as well as in the wrists. I know that some people have said that their right side of their body's been more activated than the left. For me, I'm noticing more in the left side of my body. Um, I'm just having a lot of just left side difficulty right now. And so let me hurry and fix that. Um, and so there we go. Um, and as a result of that, a lot of the stuff that's coming in is just kind of feels unsteady, uneasy. We feel kind of uncomfortable. It's like, what is that? What is all of this stuff that's happening? Um, and it's fine. We're in the middle of a lot of shifts and changes. So um, pardon me, a couple of it's been a week now. A week ago Friday was when I really Thursday, I guess. So it's been a week and a half now where some pretty interesting activation started to occur regarding headaches, and being unstable in this way, feeling unstable, off balance in some way. And this it has been kind of stopped some of my things. Like I didn't do, not this Friday that was just happened, but the one before, we actually didn't have our Friday group like we normally do. And so that was just because this I don't have migraines, and I had a migraine. So I know a lot of people who are having this also. Activations in the hands and the feet, or the ankles and the wrists, is something else that a lot of people are having. So this is just to name a few, as well as appetite, lack of appetite, um, not having like any desire to really eat much. You may feel hungry, but just there's just nothing that sounds good, despite the quantity of what's available to you, and what maybe is your typical go-to foods. They just don't sound good anymore. Um, and the need for increased intake of water, a lot more water needed. And what I find interesting is I keep getting that there's an increased need for more sleep as well, but then we're not getting any, So just a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot more ascension symptoms than that. That's to name a few. I wanted to point out today is the eve of the Mercury going retrograde motion, as well as on tomorrow. We're also supposedly that's when this other moon, the second moon that we've had in our orbit, for like I can't even remember anymore. It was September sometime that it came into our orbit. It's leaving our orbit as of tomorrow, apparently. As this moon does leave our orbit, we're noticing that there's a lot of divine feminine activation that's happening, this feminine energy that comes from the moons. That's just kind of how it goes. And so I'm getting the impression we're going to get some relief on the left side activation that we've been getting, which I'm kind of looking forward to because it's been kind of pronounced lately. So, along with that, we had the celestial new year on the 18th. And then the following day was when Pluto went from Capricorn into Aquarius and will remain in Aquarius for like 19 years. And it's going to be like March 2040 is when it's going to go into a different space. So there's a lot of energy right now of this is an echo of what, like the Revolutionary War, French Revolution period. I went back. If you go and look the different times that Pluto's been in Aquarius, it's very fascinating, historically speaking. Every time this happens, there's a lot of really awesome stuff that's occurred, a lot of liberation and understanding of new ways. And so, anyway, I want to say hello to everybody. I noticed that there was quite a few comments before I came on. So I just want to say hello to everyone who was, it looks like the Deborah was first. So good job being first, Deborah. I'm glad to see that you're here, as well as Vegan Vixen. And let's see if there's any Ascension Symptoms people mentioned here before I go to, I see Carmen. Hey, Carmen, good to see you, brother. Very intense time with Pluto and Aquarius, very dizzy and spacey, says Marriott. Not easy to feel grounded, as if walking in the air. And I resonate with that a lot. Walking in the air, that's a really good descriptor, a way to describe this. It does feel like you're just kind of like off balance somehow, or some kind of, it's very fascinating. Grounding, I'm actually wearing a tiger's eye for that purpose. There's a lot of different things that we can do for grounding. I'm finding that a lot of root teas, drinking tea that is made from root, particularly dandelion root coffee is what I've been drinking. You can actually get dandelion if you harvest your own dandelion. My suggestion is to be sure that there hasn't been any kind of spray like Roundup sprayed on the lawn or the area near it for about 10 years. It's hard to know for sure if that's happened, but harvesting a dandelion though, then you can what you do is you pull the whole thing up, root and all, and then cleaning that out, the dirt off of it, then and drying it, whether drying it naturally or in a very low setting on a toaster oven or a regular oven, until it's fully dry, and then grounding it like you would coffee, and then mixing it like you would make coffee. It's actually really good. It's like a medium roast. And it gives you that root. Some people I've talked to have been really eating a lot of potatoes, sweet potatoes, these different root vegetables as well. But there's really no comparison to being able to ground by putting your feet on the soil. So if that's something that you can do in the region that you're in, I know that the temperatures have dropped for most places at least in this country or this continent. However, if you can bring dirt into the house, that also helps. That's something that I've done for quite a few years now, anticipating a winter weather period. I'll bring dirt into the home, and you can put dirt on you, put your feet in the dirt, just on top of the surface of it, and that really does help. It also gives you the added bonus of the ionization process. There's a lot of positively charged ions. Positive seems like it's positive, right? But you don't actually want those. That's what that static sound on your soul comes from. That it sounds almost like ant races or a radio that's not quite in tune. That's what it feels like and sounds like to me. And then when I allow myself to ground, to go and ionize, then my body can remove all of these positively charged ions and replace them with negatively charged ones. And that's when you're suddenly like, at peace. Even if you're in a colder place and you can't bring dirt into the house. Another thing that I've learned to do over the years in colder climate spaces was I would find trees that had exposed roots and just put bare feet on those roots, at least for just a little while. Sometimes I bring a chair out there, if you don't want to, get wet, or you're not really balanced because the root does kind of come off kind of steep sometimes. That's another tip that you can do. Going out into nature, however cold it is, the best you can, is really beneficial. So let me get to some of your questions. I kind of rambled for a bit there. There's a lot going on. Oh, one more thing before I forget. If I do know that there's a couple of people pretending to be me on different social media platforms. I just wanted to remind you all I'm not going to pursue you for a session. Chances are, if you're getting a response or a conversation by somebody claiming to be me, especially on Facebook, if you're getting a response on Messenger, it's not me. I have it right in my profile that I won't DM. So if you're getting conversation from somebody, and if you're looking to try to connect with me, Telegram is the way to do that. So anyway, so I want to say hello to Caroline and welcome. I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments. It's some crazy energy right now. Hello, spiritual seeker. Good to see you. Ralph. Hi, Mila. Hi, all. Love from Scotland. Good to see you, Ralph. Cosmic Detective. Hi, Mila. Hello, my peeps. Astra's here. Good to see you. Infrared Riding Hood. I'm completely sick, like a very bad cold, but I feel like I did last year when was having dreams of being in World War II, a strange type of anxiety. Yeah, there is a sensation that it kind of couples with this grieving sensation, feeling like you're mourning a loss. Um, this is an ancient energy that's been coming up in bursts, like just it waves is a better way to say it, probably. And with it, typically, it feels kind of like anxiety. It's separate though. If I don't know if it's the same thing that you're talking about. I've had experiences with it, and so have other people that I've done sessions with recently, where it's not quite connected to them, but it harkens back to a time of feeling or experiencing this type of anxiety experience. And so I also, though, I can 100% infrared writing hood resonate with these weird dreams. The dream activity is kicking up right now. It's crazy, some of the stuff that comes through and is coming in. I think that's why we're being abruptly awoken so frequently throughout the night, to kind of like transmute it. This feels like what we're doing. Some of these things are events, I feel like, that have happened, like or are occurring in a different place, and there's a need or a request that someone help transmute it and equalize it. And for one reason or another, that's us, and so that's what we've been doing more. And I find that to be it's kind of unsettling. You almost don't want to go to sleep sometimes because there's so much activities going on. Um, Something I've been noticing more too. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but like there's this third eye activation stuff I've been getting. It actually turns bright pink and will change shapes and designs on the center right here. I'm getting on, and along with it, I'll have surges of occasional headaches. Kind of in the ocular region more than the third eye, but that's something else that's very fascinating. It kind of seems to be going along with some of the same stuff. Good to see you, Flix Love. Hello, Angie. Welcome. Lizzie. Hi, Mila. Hi, everyone from Scotland. Good to see you. Infrared Riding Hood. Trying to help my brother with psychosis for 6 months. He's literally at my mom's talking to himself, and I'm genuinely impressed I'm genuinely impressed. My body is still going. Sorry about the moaning. Oh no, you're good. Um, yeah, there's actually a high frequency of this right now. A great number of individuals are having some type of experience where, so like spouses, loved ones, siblings, peers are kind of flipping out a little bit, having psychotic breaks and different types of things like this. I'm not surprised, but I'm impressed by the number of people. I was talking to somebody that works um, in behavior health, like a hospital setting, and they were saying that their beds are completely full in all of the different facilities in their area. Because people are checking themselves in. These are the newer awakening individuals. When I was in social work, I remember walking through the halls of these hospitals and thinking, these are my people. You know what I mean? Misunderstood and medicated, and so this is the first thing that we think of. Many of us have been conditioned to think of when we are starting to have activations and awakening kind of things. There are, I'm sure, occasions where it's something more. However, not always, and I would say less frequently than is being diagnosed. And so as a result, a lot of people are having um, increased experience. So my heart really goes out to you, and for Red Riding Hood, I understand what you're talking about, and it's a very difficult place to be when someone's committed to the 3D way or have participated in the medication world regarding behavior health for a number of years, because there's already been this alternative intervention that you know there's nothing that you're supposed to do. Just be you and be true to yourself. And a lot of times, the example that you are is the only understanding they will ever have, or that they have had yet, So um, just live by your own example in your most authentic way as possible, is the guidance for anyone going through something like this. And sending you love, man. Barbara says, yeah, I missed Friday. Missed you on Friday. Glad to see you today. Appetite's weird. Sleep's off, which seems pretty normal. Very emotional the last few days. Yeah, a lot of emotional stuff has been like surges of like, seems almost like momentarily coming through, but it's still a pronounced experience when it does come in. Yeah, the Friday thing, I am doing Fridays still. I just missed the week before last, though we did meet a couple of days ago, and we will continue to do that. It just I couldn't. I had a migraine. I couldn't look at the light. I had to have my daughter be my secretary. She did a pretty good job. I went back and saw what she wrote. She did a good job. But just the light, I couldn't look. I couldn't. It was just intense. Yeah, the appetite's really weird, and the sleep being off. It's kind of fascinating because I was going through a period of almost oversleep, where it would, compared to what I had been doing previously, I was like, I just wanted to sleep all the time. And now it's like, I'm not sleeping. It's kind of annoying because I feel like I want to sleep, and then at the same time, when you go to sleep, then all of a sudden there's all this stuff going on, you know. Slower version of the Twilight Zone right now. Yeah, that's a really good way of saying it, Cosmic Detective. Yeah, everything. And there's more to come. Like this was when we had the 15th, which was the day we're talking about. I missed the Friday meeting. Um, that was the countdown one that Spirit kept telling me about. That was the fourth of the 4 super moons in a row, in 4 months in a row. And that particular one was a doozy, and it kind of began everything in motion and started to push it. Everything started to move forward, and so a lot of stuff's going, and it's fascinating to watch the tables turn, and to all of a sudden be in this position of like a teacher or a guiding force, when before we were considered, unstable, or the, crazy garden lady, or whatever you were called or thought to be. And now all of a sudden people are coming to you for advice or counsel. It's very bizarre, and so it's kind of fascinating though. And a lot of other things too. But that, yeah, it's a really good way of saying it. Like literally arriving at the Twilight Zone, unlike before, in and out of it, getting used to the new vibe. Yeah, it's really a funky feeling at first. I'm still there. I'm still trying to like adjust, kind of get used to it, get my bearings, I guess is a way of saying it. I It's a new world. Nobody and no one is the guru. You know what I mean? Like none of us are a guru. You are you. That's what guru means, right? That's how it's spelled. And you're your own guru, and it kind of makes me chuckle when I see someone who puts their name as guru. It's like, okay, that's where you are in your spiritual development, and that's okay. But I'm saying this because we're all trying to figure out what's going on and what to do next. We understand on a greater scale, but day to day, moment to moment kind of stuff, all I know is to be excited, because that's what spirit is. The energy that spirit guides, higher self, all these different beings that come in, they're excited. I've got a delay on my end. I wonder if you guys see that delay too. It's kind of disorienting if I look at myself. um, and so the excitement feels kind of like just before Christmas, and the parents are just waiting for the kids to wake up, kind of thing, because they just got some cool, yay moments for them. It's 222 right now. Um, um, let's see. Oh yeah, Cosmic Detective. I've been walking around my neighborhood and have not used my car purposely. The cement grounds me, but yeah, it's wobbly. Yeah. That's really good. Walk around. That's why I've been doing more of that too. I've been needing more movement. And so if dancing is another thing, and it could be, you don't have to be good at it. You could be lousy at it. Like I would not call myself a good dancer, and it doesn't matter. It's a celebration of life, and it's being in joy and play and getting the movement. Qigong's another good one. Yoga. There's, just simple, just whatever it is you can do. Cleaning the house, moving around, going for a walk, or whether around the block or something like that. It really does help. So it's a really good thing to do. Great idea. Oh, I'm glad. I don't remember I'm not sure what I was talking about right then. I got way behind. Um, Vibrating. Ooh, thank you for bringing this up, Adriana. Um, Vibrating in stomach, even after I woke up this morning. Noticed while I was meditating, it feels strange. Lasted maybe an hour. This is something I've been having a lot of, and a lot of other people have. Some people have been really alarmed when they've come to me. The core of our body vibrating. It's very bizarre. And this is basically, so we're a conduit. We're the conduit of energy, coming and going. It's not just a one-way road. We have energy moving up, and we have energy coming down and through us. And so as this energy moves through us, there's this sensation that feels like vibration. It feels like the shuddering inside. It's very peculiar sensation. What's more is there's an activation of the solar plexus and sacral for most people. Um, Interestingly enough, the sacral area, the sacral chakra, that's the chakra that's just below your navel by about 2 finger widths, below your belly button. This is where we tend to store our inner child, or our shadow self. When you do shadow work or inner child work, you'll usually be going to this area of your body, whether or not you realize it when you're doing it. It's very fascinating, because this is something that is a need, or something that's being guided us to do right now, is to uh, elevate the wounded child within, and to bring this child forward, to reintegrate this child into you, so you can be the whole self that you are. rather than a fractured self. We're also reintegrating these multi-reality versions of ourselves, multiverse versions of ourselves, where each time that we make a choice or a decision, then there's a pairing off, a splitting off, and one person, one energy that resembles and is in very much in many ways you, goes on and does this choice while you do this one over here, right? And when we jump timelines, we're jumping from one to the other. And then now what we're doing and being called to do as on a collective level is to reintegrate all these energies of ourself. And spirit is always playful with me, and so they're not like reverent at all. That's just how we have our conversations. And so this isn't meant as unkind. It's just how we talk. But I just wanted to quote them directly. They'll give you that understanding. Is they were like, it's kind of sloppy of you to not take care of that. They were telling me, so it's kind of like, see all these different orbs behind me here, and it's like taking them and just sliding them back together, and becoming the whole that you are. As we become more and more whole and complete, then all things become more and more easy. The parts that we didn't realize that we're operating in an autopilot kind of way is because we were fractured, and is kind of like butter spread across too much bread, kind of an idea, to quote Lord of the Rings. And so it's that kind of concept. What we're doing right now is we're reintegrating all of these different aspects of ourselves. It's kind of like another level of calling back the fractal self that people do in the meditations. A lot of times because something more that we do when we have trauma is that we leave behind a residue or an echo of ourself and part of us, so we're just bringing it all back. We're bringing it all back and reintegrating all of this. So, yes, I watched a romantic movie today and cried my eyes out. That's a great idea. Whatever it is that you can do to assist yourself to get yourself the tears to flow, they do need to flow. This ancient is the best way to describe it. Grief that needs to be expressed and healed through. It doesn't have to have a reason. It doesn't have to have an explanation why it's there. It just is. So let it go. Energy in motion, emotion. It's energy in motion. It's meant to go. It's not meant to hang out. So release it. It doesn't have to have an understanding about it. Colleen, hi, how's it going? Hi, Amila, and everyone in Ascension Symptoms are crazy. And head I don't know what that word is. And head aches probably, and lack of sleep, or waking up at all hours, being hot and cold. Thank you for sending love and good vibes. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm full on having all of these experiences. This weird sleep thing is probably the one that's getting me the most, especially since there's so much activity at night in the sleep place. So what sleep I do get is not really restful. Hi, Dennis. Good to see you. Lot of, oh yeah. Hey, thank you, Vanya. Skin rashes. Is there any reason for skin rashes? There is. So, really good thing that you mentioned that. Thank you so much for saying something. We are undergoing so we keep raising the bar for our purging. We're purging right now, again. And so the definition of toxin is something that is not in alignment with your body. It's disharmonious to you. That does not mean that it's a poison exactly. It simply means that it's no longer part of team body. It's not helping you anymore. When you are vibrating at this level, maybe it didn't cause any disruption, and perhaps it even helped you. Pardon me. But then now that we've been raising our frequency up, now we're up here, and this is now a burden. This is now an anchor. It's something that's keeping us down. And so these things are being purged from our bodies and through our pores. You wouldn't really think that as much. And, we kind of think that we purge through, mucus alone and bathroom trips, though there's more. There's more. And so it's causing, yeah, exactly, skin rashes, skin irritation, as well as a variety of different types of what seem almost like pustules. That's the best way to describe it. It's kind of like acne, but not really. Um, and it just comes and goes. Um, that's meant to be purged. It's meant to be cleansed off of you, exfoliate that stuff off of there, gently, you know. I've noticed that there's things that just kind of don't want to come off or is not ready to leave yet, and so I don't really force it. But yeah, um, oils are really important for our bodies when we are considering that there's a lot of things going on, um, that oil is something that's being missed. We clean the oils off of our body when we bathe and shower, and then now we're finding that um, uh, our body needs the stuff that we're washing off, maybe a cleaner version. So like olive oil, high frequency olive oil is one of the ones that's my go-to. You know, it's affordable and it's easily accessible. Um, I am sure that I get certain things, so check the labels, check your brands, check do your own research on it and stuff like that. But, um, and, I did I read a comment I wasn't supposed to in for Red Riding Hood? I'm sorry. I didn't mean, yeah. Okay. OMG, I can't believe you mentioned that. The dreams. Yeah, dude. The universal love light. Yeah, I love your name. Yeah, dude, there's some crazy stuff going down in dreamland. It's really interesting that native cultures, the people will use the word dream walking for astral travel, and it's not a coincidence because we a lot of times will do this in sleep. you know whether or not you consciously are aware of your astral travel. Astral travel is another word that earlier in my life we used to call out of body experiences. It's the same thing. It's just new age, new word. Um, a lot of the words and vocabulary I'm still catching up on because I did a lot of this stuff on my own. On my own, I say that, but my some of my siblings also did, and so we kind of had our own language or vocabulary for it. Um, and then stuff that would come through in conversation with spirit. I still use those words. So if you ever don't know what I'm talking about, please let me know. It's just a word that I have adopted. So um yeah, ascension madness. Yeah, that's right. All kinds of stuff going on. Lots of the need for salt and for water is something that I'm supposed to mention. It just got brought up. So I have been noticing that is an important requirement for my body too. Hey, it's 2, 3, 4. And whenever I see progression numbers, I always get that, that okay, you're supposed to keep going forward. Um, anyway, salt and water are really the main things that my body's needing the most of right now. And there's 1, 2, 3 people here. That's funny. We got the progression numbers on both ends. Um, pardon me. I've got a little bit of a different kind of a cough going on right now. But then we got some really weird. I'll post one of the pictures up on our Telegram group. They got some really weird chemtrails today, and they're really working overtime, man. They're crisscrossing all over the place. It almost looks like there's some type of like sacred geometry going on up there right now. Anyway, um, yeah, I lost throat. Yeah, so the salt. Remembering that we need to replenish our salt. A lot of the stuff that's being moved through our body and purged right now is being delivered on the vehicle of sweat. And sweat is water and salt primarily. There are other elements there, but that's primarily what it is, you know. And so we are in need of replenishing these things. Um, I've been guided for quite some time now to be sure that I let my body accept the salt that it wants. I find that I will be thirsty. It doesn't matter. I'll be drinking the water and I'm just still really thirsty. And then I just have a little bit of salt, and then all of a sudden the water does quench my thirst. Sometimes we'll put the salt underneath our tongue and then take a drink of water. And sometimes we'll just mix, salt and water together. And I'll just take like a small, like mouthful of it, and I'll usually move it around my mouth for a minute before I swallow it. And then drinking the water, all of a sudden, now I'm able to hydrate a lot easier. I feel like I'm becoming rehydrated, and so that was something that just came in from spirit, reminding that the check your minerals responsibly. I've just recently been validated with this. This is something I didn't ever question. Spirit tells me stuff, and I just know that that's true. You can feel in your heart what their intentions are pure and with love. And then now, though, some information's coming forward about this is a big truther thing here, but that the Heart Association uh, forbade studies to be produced and to be publicized because of it was to say that people need at least a tablespoon of salt a day, and they were trying to say that it doesn't. The study proved that people who had a higher salt content had healthier hearts. And interestingly, when they started to say you shouldn't have very much salt in your diet, instead of eating butter, you should have margarine and artificial stuff. That same window of time was when cardiac arrest started to become more frequent. So, and different types of heart disease and strokes. So, it's a truth or point. Is this something that we're gladly in the moment of revelation, a period of disclosure in a way that we may not have thought it was going to happen? The disclosure of, our what's happening in the food world, and interesting side note. My state, I live in Arkansas, on the wave of what had come through from the incoming presidential people. They just announced they're going to stop putting fluoride in the water here. And this is something that is expected to occur throughout the country, at least in the U.S., over the next couple of months. And so, even though I got a bunch of fact checker and they kept deleting my stuff about what fluoride does to your pineal gland and different types of things about your body, so there we go. It's been accepted in most countries as a neurotoxin. It's been in the water supplies of this country since 1944. It's interesting that it coincides so closely to when it was used for World War II. Speaking of World War II, someone had mentioned having a dream about that. Does anyone find it challenging to be a part of the world during these times, since we know that there is so much more, and that the most of what we have been taught is not really relevant? It is. It really is. I'm sure people have been answering you. I'm kind of behind here, but yeah, I mean, me too. It's kind of, and it's surprising too, the people who they want so badly to argue and to get into political debates. I don't have a political stance. I don't have an opinion. um I guess if I were to have any opinion at all, is that the left wing and the right wing are both from the same bird. You know what I mean? I can say I'm not interested, and they just become they speak louder at me about what happened in the you haven't watched the news, and then they panic shout all of what's they've been told has been happening, these types of things. um and so I'm known by more people than not as a quiet introvert. It's because, I'm happy to not talk to. I don't have to have conversations with people. I don't have any desire to have conversations that are mind numbing or fear porn. You know what I mean? I don't participate. There's no point. It's not true. So, um, let's see. I'm going to jump down a little bit because I see that I've gotten way heart pounding. Okay. I'm really glad that you said something about this. Pardon me. um, yeah. I corrected right here. Yeah, that the heart palpitations have been increasing for me for about 2 weeks. They've been, more common. They come in waves. Typically, you can almost set your clock by them. Typically, it's around 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. I'm noticing. I'm finding that really fascinating. Not always, but it seems pretty likely that it's about 3 o'clock. So I find this really fascinating. Um, it seems to go along with what Tanis has said and what was mentioned earlier, vibrating. I vibrate almost all of the time. This vibrating sensation for me goes along with the heart palpitations typically. When I'm noticing the vibration sensation, I'm also aware of my heart. There's been times where I've actually felt the beat of my heart in my lower rib, like it's almost in my stomach. It's like, dude, what in the world? I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. If there's a need for you to go, go. I don't go because I'm tired of being looked at and then told that I'm healthier than I've ever been, and you're fine. Why are you here? Are you looking for drugs? You know, even though I'm the first person that will, toss that prescription paper out on the way out the door. But yeah, however, yeah, this vibration sensation through the body, especially in the core. I've been noticing it going down the arms, and the legs even. Particularly when I'm in a time of rest, which is the most frustrating time for it to occur. You're like, dude, can you just happen when, I'm doing the dishes, when I'm moving around, but it has to be when I'm trying to sleep or meditate. Um, though knowing it's not anything disruptive is very comforting. So if that helps you to not be in a place of fear, to go see a doctor and get checked up, get some blood work done or whatever, I mean, you do you. I had found in the past that it was reassuring, even though I got the looks. I think that I even got marked as a drug seeker, which I thought, again, I never filled the medications that they get prescribed because they didn't know. They'd be like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Here, just try this. This might help. It's like, and I don't need that. But anyway, it did though give me the reassurance that I didn't have to be afraid or worried, go to the place of fear in my head when I would have these symptoms, that there wasn't something else going on, and so it's useful. Um, Multiverse, unversing. I like that, Sherry. That's really cool. Staying in the violet flame is so helpful for me. Still purging. Yeah. The violet flame meditations that Angie's talking about here is so useful. So helpful. Violet flame is very simple. And I'm gonna share a video that Guardian and I did together quite some time ago on his channel. I didn't actually do anything. I was just sitting there while he was doing a meditation and I was participating with this camera on and with my eyes closed. I thought that was really funny. But it's just doing meditation, bringing forward the soul spark that's in your heart center and letting it become violet, purple, similar to one, about here. And then having this flame envelop you and transmute the energies that are not in alignment with you. It's a form of healing. It's very powerful. You can do it to other places. I've sent violet flames to people. It sounds scary and mean, but it's not. And it really balances out the energy. Saint Germain, Saint Germain, depending on your pronunciation. This is an ascended master that taught this. It's interesting. I just got to talking to somebody about this yesterday, this individual. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. This is really helpful. Transmutation. Transmute that stuff, man. You don't need to be in it. And I would say that a lot of us are getting a lot of these activations right now because we're being encouraged to do something about it. Like it we wouldn't move if there wasn't a reason to. Like, I remember the old stories that my grandfather used to tell about the mosquito. The reason that mosquito existed was that the buffalo prayed to Great Spirit asking for more grass because they were starving, and then woke up the next morning and they were mosquitoes stinging them, biting them. And so then, they were felt cursed. But they found that when they ran, when they were in motion, the mosquitoes wouldn't bite them. So they ran, and they ran until they stopped being bit, and then looked around and realized that they were in a brand new field full of plentiful grass and new vegetation that they hadn't eaten before, and that their bodies needed to be nourished. And then after the grass starts to get eaten down to where they're beginning to find that they're in lack again, mosquitoes arrive again. This is the motivator. And yeah, no one wants to be bit by a mosquito or whatever it is. But sometimes that's the only thing that gets us to move. You know, Being in a place of discomfort gets us to do something about it. So, good afternoon, everyone. I have been having leg spasms, constantly vibrating in the hands, feet at times, dizziness, floating, and nausea. Thank you, Pamela. Love you. Love you too. Yeah, thank you for bringing this up too. I actually haven't mentioned the nausea yet. I began to, and I got distracted. We were going into the salt. Salt came in instead, because that's the solution, the answer to making it easier. Though, yeah, I've been having this nausea stuff too. I had it specifically with, or the most intensely, when I was having that really awful headache stuff that I was going through. Um, that was a very unique, isolated experience that I've never had something like that before. But I'm also still, though, kind of feeling like that little bit of like a unsettled stomach, lack of appetite, just kind of like, typically I'll find this to be true before a big activation. So I keep looking to like the calendar, and it's like, well, I mean, we got a couple of things happening, celestially speaking. But I mean, I guess when you think of it though, when you put it all together, what started happening 2 weeks ago was still happening, energetically speaking. And it's kind of piled up on top of itself to make this big, like the goofy size sandwich, with all the different many layers. Yeah, so allowing ourselves just take our time. I'm noticing though, so we usually go through an unplanned fasting period where you just don't feel like eating, for one reason or another, leading into some type of activation. This is something we do automatically when we're listening to our bodies. This is something that monks and different spiritual groups a lot of times will do ahead of a sacred ceremony. That they'll go through a period of fasting. Sometimes it's a few days or a week. It all depends on what it is that's being done or what's happening. Though I am finding this to be really a big true for me too. So thank you very much, SS, for mentioning this. Exactly in alignment with what's been going on. Sprite from Texas, good to see you. Been having chills and sweats and freezing, weird stomach and cold leg symptoms this weekend. All right, Echo, you're along the lines with a lot of us. Many of us have been feeling this. It's pretty, and it's pretty consistent. Um, it's weird. It's like, in different parts of your body. It's not like all of a sudden my body's cold. It's like, well, now my stomach is cold. That's weird, or now my hands are only, it's really bizarre. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling the same type of thing. And then with the heat, then all of a sudden you're clammy and sweaty, and it's like, what the heck is going on? I haven't even moved. Yeah, lots of we're transmuting a lot of stuff already. Like we talked about the violet flame. We are doing a lot of this automatically too. And then things are being we are getting assistance. We have been, and we are continuing to get assistance from our higher self, our spirit team, our light team. A lot of individuals have been helping us on different layers, though we're really the ones that need to do like make the choice, give the consent, and start the action. They can be a supporting team, if nothing else, a cheerleader that kind of guides us, so I am finding it to be really fascinating that it's kind of going in alignment with that as this stuff's happening though, we are purging all of this stuff. We're transmuting it. It's like we're burning it off in a lot of ways. So, hey, Deborah on your phone. Good to see you. She was meaning head colds. Oh, probably from above. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Headaches. I thought it was headaches, your mom. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is something else that everybody else has been talking about, and I've been noticing there's been a higher frequency of spirit bringing forward to me, not from any kind of media or anything. It's just encouragement to consider purging of parasites as well. Um, it feels like some of these parasites that we've collected over the years, whether it be while you were the egg that was in your mother's womb while she was still in her mother's womb, your grandmother's womb, or something that we've eaten or breathed in this lifetime while we've been walking and talking and doing our thing, for one reason or another, these different parasite energies that are within us, physical things, are becoming less in harmony with us. I mean, a parasite's a parasite, but they don't always cause just such great disruption. And now I'm getting a lot of encouragement from spirit, not just for myself, but to talk about it, to talk about purging parasites. There's a lot of different things you can do. There's black walnut. That's a one way to purge. There's grapefruit seed oil or grapefruit seed. Yeah, grapefruit. That's what I think mine's. I have the extract, I think is what I use. There's wormwood. There's whole cloves. There's a lot of different things that we can do. I mean, check it out. Do your research. I'm not ever attempting to present myself as an expert. I'm not. I'm telling you what I did, and then here's my trial and error, and maybe you can find a better one. And if you do, I hope that you share it with us, because I don't know. I'm just figuring it out too. I do know that we're supposed to. We're supposed to purge these things. They're not helping us. So, looping thoughts from childhood. This is exactly what I was talking about. I don't know if you were here for this part because I'm really behind on on your comments, guys. I hope I can catch up to a couple more because we got to get going in a little bit here. Looping thoughts from childhood. This was sacral chakra activation. This is the area of the kind of like the belly area. And so the sacral chakra is actually about 2 finger widths below your navel or your belly button, and about 2 finger widths or so above your navel or belly button is your solar plexus. These 2 chakras at this time have been getting a lot more activation than most. However, specifically the sacral chakra, this orange one, the sunset orange that's just below the navel, tends to be where we store our inner child. And what's more is there tends to be inner children, inner child from many different lifetimes. Yeah, that's one that takes a minute to wrap your head around. Is that because you'll go down there. So it really quickly, going into meditation, you don't have to go really deep, but just start the meditation process, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, and kind of relaxing your body and stuff. And then being able to go, like, visually speaking, as if you're jumping from your third eye and go down into like your belly button area, like you're going into your body to like check it out, but you're going into your sacral chakra. You're seeing this orange corridor. It's really like, it's a beautiful orange. Like, it's real sunset orange. It's really happy to be in there. And then you start to hear these children's voices laughing and playing. Some of the kids are hiding and are kind of timid, shy. Some are scorned, and it's really fascinating. This is a way to kind of uh, meet the energy that needs healing head on, rather than kind of like hitting you upside the head while you're not paying attention kind of thing. This is like shadow work, right? So we have a dark night of the soul, and the dark night of the soul will continue until we do shadow work, right? And so inner child work is the same thing as shadow work. It's just from a different, it's psychology versus spirituality, but it's the same thing. And this stuff, this childhood um, trauma, right now it's time to heal it, because before it was just kind of a nuisance, and now it's actually a false anchor that's keeping us from something, something being this ascension. And that's not to say that if you don't do it right now, you're not going to get to ascend. It's just that you're trying to drag a couple of bags of rocks through this wonderful riverbed, when you could just float. On your body, it looks like little puffs of smoke that are the size of sand, grains of sand all over our body, these little puffs of smoke, poofs of smoke. And as we release these traumas and heal these traumas, then we release the burden of the weight of them, and getting down to the brass tacks. All of us have been traumatized in one way or another. We've all been victimized in one way or another. However, what are you going to do about it? Can you have stopped it? Can you go back in time and make it go not have happened? Well, the closest thing that I found to that is quantum healing. And I didn't even know that's what I was doing at the time. I was just being guided by beings that came to me when I was in my early teens, and 13 to be specific. And very early teens, I guess, huh? That's the first year you're actually a teen. Anyhow, and what I would do is I would go to these different events, these different moments that had occurred, these moments of trauma, and I would change the story. I thought I was being given the method of changing my past to make it have been a different past. As many of you know, I was a trafficked child. I was brought up when no one knew we existed. I mean, my grandma and aunts, people like that knew that we were around, but we were homeschooled, and we were kept out of we weren't allowed to talk to people outside of our home. We couldn't have friends. We couldn't anything. We only got to go outside at night most of the time, and sometimes it was during the day, but we would never, even as almost adult children, you couldn't leave the yard, Anyway, a lot had happened, not, and I was shared sexually with many adults as a very young person. And I'm bringing this up because I'm not more traumatized than anybody else, but what I'm talking about, the healing I'm talking about, work for that shit. Like, I mean, I look at some of the other individuals who were there for this stuff, the same kind of trauma that I had, and they're still cycling through mental health hospitals, like long-term stay, years, highly medicated, messed up, and the difference is that someone owes them. A balancing of the scales needs to occur in their mind. They believe that there has to be repercussion, or they can't heal. Well, you know what? You either put that victim mentality down or you keep getting dragged down by it, and I want to live now. We got a life, we got experience, we got people, we got little ones. I've been blessed with a beautiful, amazing daughter, and I could either be beating up that old bag and dragging that sack of rocks down the bed of the river. I could be floating with my kiddo. And so I choose to float with my kiddo. I'm not saying anyone's doing anything wrong. I'm not trying to stand on what I'm saying is I'm trying to be an example of, like where I came from is similar to everybody's trauma. My trauma is not more intense than anyone else's. Your pain threshold is your pain threshold. Some people being told I'm disappointed in you by somebody is the worst thing that happened to them, and people mock them. That's traumatic if that's the worst thing you had happen. That's your 10 on your pain scale. Everyone has had trauma. So rather than comparing notes, what are you going to do about it? Let's heal it. And that's this inner child work. I have meditations in the Telegram group that are free. Our Telegram group is free, by the way. There is no charge. You are welcome to come and to be polite to each other, of course. But this is a family of light beings, of star seeds, of other people just like you. And in this, there's a section that's called, if some people I guess can't see the folders, we have it in folders. Some people don't see the folders for some reason. However, if you can't find something, just do a at symbol and write my name, and it'll bring my attention to it. Anyway, there's a section where I put my guided meditations up there, and they're free. They're typically about an hour long. These meditations, they're very active meditations, not the kind of, you're not just sitting there and just kind of like breathing and observing. You're doing stuff. And so I find it to be very engaging for people who struggle with meditations. I don't set these up. These are not my recipe. This is a channeled experience. And lately, we've been doing a lot of this kind of work. So I encourage you to go check that out if you haven't done it yet. I'm already past my hour and I have hardly touched anyone's comments. I love you all so much. It's just, there was a lot to be said today. I hope that I see you guys have been talking to each other, and I'm very glad to see that. There, I will go back and I'll read these comments at a later time and respond to you, all of the live comments after the fact, like so. Tomorrow probably. And so those of you who have not been heard, I want you to know I will read you. I will read your comments. What I can tell you, the best thing that you can do for anybody can do right now is to ground. However is most beneficial for you, easy to do in the grounding. A lot of times, this is putting your feet on the ground outside. It can even be concrete, like a slab of concrete, rather, or it could be soil, it could be grass, even snow. There's a lot of different I've brought soil into the house, sand, bathing, if you can bathe, or foot soaks. Really helps, especially if you put Epsom salt in there, or any kind of like um, essential oil. I can't remember the words right now. For those of you who didn't hear me in the beginning, I didn't sleep last night. I'm still awake from yesterday. It's just, there was so much activation that was occurring. So a lot of just rest needed, and meditation, even if it's just a little bit here and there. Let yourself try some of this stuff out. Engaging in meditation, grounding, connecting with others, in this Telegram group that I had mentioned. There's a lot of individuals in there, and it's really cool because we have people from all over the planet. So there's always somebody awake, and so I encourage you to speak out, write something to someone, say what's going on with you. You'd be surprised how many people say, me too. I'm also having that experience. I saw rosemary. Try rosemary oil on your scalp before you wash. That's a really good idea. All kinds of different essential oils are really assisting right now. I'm using a lot of different things. I'm finding it to be kind of like a conglomerate. Like it's this, it probably doesn't smell that great to anybody else but I just put a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then some Epsom salt, and it's like, okay, bath time. If you don't have a bath, a lot of people don't. Foot soaks really help, as well as there was a time where I went a period where I did a long period of time where I didn't have a bath. I ended up getting one of those plastic totes, that you keep like your blankets in and stuff for storage, and putting that in the shower. And I jumped in that bad boy, because I needed it. I needed it. And so I've just been having, like, I'm so grateful that right now we do have a bath. We have a much smaller bath than I would prefer, but you know what? There are people who don't even have baths. So I'm not complaining. Um, and if you don't have that ability to get a tote like that or use a tote, then, a foot soak or even putting Epsom salt, also getting a wet cloth and then just kind of dabbing it on top of a little bit of Epsom salt, like a tray of it, and then just kind of rubbing that on different parts of your body. That does help, So I just want to say thank you all to all of you. I would stick around longer, but I do have to get going. I have a session coming up. If anybody, by the way, is interested in meeting with me on a one-on-one basis, I do offer sessions. There's a link for that in the description of this video. It always ends up being a really good time, and a lot comes through. The ability to channel is something that we all have, though. You can all channel. You can all connect to your higher self, to your guides, to the light team on your side, and so you don't need to connect with somebody like me, but if you do want to, I do have that availability. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. And, please be gentle with yourself. Right now, we are in motion. It's like a sticky foot moving from a space that we've always been in here before. We've been over here for so long, like through all these different incarnations, we were in this energy, and now we're moving over here. And though this is something that we really, really wanted to do and we're really excited about, it still is unsteady, and so it takes a minute to kind of find your ground. So, thank you all for being here. I love you all. Releasing the tears. I saw something about crying. I would love to talk to you, although I'd probably end up crying. That's okay. Um, Crying though, I'm glad you said this before we got going, because I want to say that one more time. This is considered to be a spiritual technology. When spirit talks about crying, it's referred to as a spiritual technology. We being able to cry and laugh is a spiritual technology of release that many don't have access to. And so, like, use it if you can, while you can, or not, since you can. If you can't if the tears won't come readily or easily, I find laughter really does help that. Throw a comedy on or something that's funny. That's part of why I am the who I am person. the who I am person. I'm very comedic. I try to be, more like respectful and not, because I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm laughing almost all the time. Everything's funny. Everything's funny. And so, another way to get the tears flowing is to go and find one of those nice people doing nice things for each other, kind of things. Random acts of kindness. YouTube has a lot of montage, like things of those. Those really help. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Know that what you're doing is assisting so many. You're by healing yourself, you also heal others. You heal the collective on a wider scale than just simply the collective as well. It goes up and out and beyond. So I love you all. You got this. I'll see you again in a couple of days.